Okay. Um, Welcome everybody to the Coast Town Podcast.
After a 2 week break, I'm back, bitches.
Woohoo! And that
Uh,
and youtube.com/patreon.com/twitter.com/ Kaido by the Sea. That
yeah,
was
and
who was
and
just
spell it
talking.
out exactly like that, because otherwise it's not gonna work. You gotta have at least three URLs going on at once. Otherwise, the browser's gonna get confused.
Yeah, you gotta have the code strings attached.
You gotta know.
And
You gotta be able to see the HTML. Otherwise, the internet doesn't even work.
yeah, you gotta be able to see beyond your walls, 4 dimensional.
Okay. So this is the thing. Like Amazon apparently had like a press conference today. Did you hear about this?
No.
Amazon had like a weird press conference today, and they announced some like products that basically no one wants. This
What?
new
What?
stuff. They got like, I think they're basically putting Alexa in everything. They're not even pretending anymore that they're even trying to do like consumer friendly stuff. They're basically just like, yeah, like how Alexa was in this one machine in your house or whatever. Guess what? We can put Alexa in your glasses. We can put Alexa in your microwave. We can put Alexa in your dog. Like, it's kind of crazy stuff that
Wait,
Amazon thinks they can get away with.
for real? They're putting it in dogs?
I don't. It's called, what's it called? It's called like the Alexa retrieval protocol or some stupid shit like that. And this is the fetch version, which means they put Alexa in a collar on your dog,
Oh,
and if
okay.
and if your dog it goes missing, or you can like track your dog in real time. So you can just be like, Alexa, where's my dog? And then Alexa will be like, your dog is 3 blocks away or whatever. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. So of course my stupid brain immediately goes 3 years down the line to like, oh, Amazon's just gonna stick this on kids. That's literally gonna happen next year. What do you think?
I mean, I think that's. I mean, I know that's already happening. Not with Amazon, but people do that with their. They
Yeah.
chip their kids.
Chipping your kid is kind of like the most inhumane shit I can think of in my life.
Yeah, it's
It's
like
it's
horrible.
nuts. How does it
Yeah,
work exactly? I'm not really familiar with this.
there's a chip like under the skin of your child, like in that show. What's it
Black
called?
Mirror?
No, not the anime. What was that anime called? I forget. Promise Neverland.
Promise
Just
Neverland, yeah.
yeah, just like in that show. Yeah.
But how do they put it in? When do they put it in?
I'm not sure, but I know I think they do it when you're a baby at some point.
And then you can just know where you are at all times. Is that how it works?
Yeah,
That's
that
crazy.
that is crazy. And then there's this weird app that like tracks your GPS or something.
That
Like
and baby leashes fuck me up real bad.
yeah,
Baby
that
leashes. I feel like if you need a leash to like control your baby, you probably shouldn't be having kids. One,
yeah
and two, like if you're so paranoid that you need a chip to like know where your kids are, you should have done a better job parenting them. I feel.
yeah you like yeah that's just for I don't know what choices in life you have to make to get to the point where you want to chip or leash your child.
Yeah, and also it doesn't help the kids that really need chipping either. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
Oh yeah. Well, here I do know the choices. They just kind of stumbled into it, like a lot of people, and they're like because that's what they're supposed to do. Like, oh, you got to get the spouse and the kids. So then you're like, oh, I don't know how to raise this thing. Let me just chip it and leash it. There, easy solution.
that's nuts. So like you're probably too young for this, but I'm getting to the age where the people that I went to high school with are slowly one by one starting to get married,
Mm,
and
that's
especially the girls.
psycho.
And I'm like, you have not known this person you're getting married to longer than you've known like people you went to high school with, but you're getting married?
Bro, dude, okay, you know what's insane? There was a girl I knew who like got married when she was like 18, like right, like it like her boyfriend from high school proposed to her, and like I'm like,
Yo,
bro,
okay. So the place that I used to live, when I used to live in Detroit or near Detroit, that place was like this messed up kind of low income apartment complex, and it was like 50% like immigrants, 50% like kind of fucked up white people, and black people because Detroit. So there was this one girl who lived, I think, in my apartment complex, and This was like before Facebook came out, really. Facebook wasn't even around. So she must have been on MySpace before. But the first time that I found out what happened to her was in 2009, when she must have been like 14, maybe. I think she was a year older than me, so she was 14, and she had a kid at 14. But
Oh
she
my
couldn't get
god.
married until 18. So then when she got married at 18, she had, I think, either one or two kids, and like I think she dropped out of high school too. So this is super super fucked up. Like you should not be having kids when you're not legally allowed to get married. That's crazy. I'm not saying like marriage is a prerequisite for, having kids or whatever. I don't really think that's the case, but you shouldn't be having kids that young. It never turns out well. Not
Yeah.
that I'm pretty sure that it's not intended, of course, but like, oh, you know what? Forget it. This is way too deep a topic to start a podcast with. I'm sorry.
Okay. Well, oh yeah. Well, we never got done with the intro. My name is Gigabytes. Go to Webtoons, search up my webcomic Everett and Mira. It's inspired by Adventure Time. Um, that's my I'm just gonna do what Undertale and all these indie games are doing and just say what my inspirations are, because there's no point in hiding it, because we live in a postmodern society where everything is everything and nothing is original. So it's a ripoff of Adventure Time. It's called Everett and Mira, and it's fun, it's wacky. They go on an adventure.
It's great. I read it. It's great. It's colorful. It's basically Adventure Time as a comic.
Exactly. There you
There's
go.
some great names. Where did you even come up with these names? Avard, like that's like a proper Nike Viking name.
Well, you go to randomnamegenerator.com.
Oh, I shouldn't have asked. I ruined the mystique of it. I ruined the mystique.
Well, see, here's what I. That's actually true. Well, what I would do was I would go to randomnamegenerator.com and then like I would see no, I'm not gonna ruin the mystique, because here's what I would do. I would, change it a little. I would find cool names, but then I would add a couple letters and make them my own names.
The thing is, I can't even judge because I've done literally the same thing for stuff for so long, especially when I'm trying to sign up for something and all the account names are used up already. And I'm like, oh my god, what do I call myself now? I just like random name generate stuff and like mix five of them together
Yeah.
and then come
It's
up with
fun that
something.
way. Bro, like let's just put this on the table right now. Taking other people's content is better than making your own, all right?
What do you mean by that?
just just
Okay,
steal,
so
recolor,
okay,
and then put the copyrights.
rewind 2 podcasts ago when you literally said original stuff is like you shouldn't even touch original content because even the people who made it updating it is like heresy to you. And now we're 2 weeks down the line and you just want to take other people's shit and make it your own stuff. That's how far we've come. That's the character development of the Gigabytes character in 2 weeks. Where are we going to be in a month? I don't even know. You're just going to be like ripping off the Amazing Spider-Man, calling it like the Spectacular Spooderman, and then making it your own thing.
Well, here's the thing. I read this amazing comic called Scoob and Shag, also also on Webtoons, and now you're gonna like pull your hair out because you're tired of hearing me talking about this like autistic comic I found.
I
But
mean, you've been talking about Homestuck for years, literal years. So like, nothing's more autistic than that. So you can't get much worse. Oh, before that, you were talking about what's his name? Oh, it's a her now. What's her name?
Kristen Weston Chandler.
Exactly. There you go.
Bro, okay, do you know the Kristen Weston Chandler like recent
Yes,
lore?
I not recent lore. I watched the same PCP podcast everyone else did.
Ben Saint is now like collaborating with Chris Chan on Twitter,
Oh my god! Of course.
and like the
Do we
Chris
have to call him like Benny?
what?
Is he changing his name? Is he committing to the thing? Is he like going full Christian? Is that how
No.
this works?
No, but he's like he did a peace treaty between the Rowdy Fuckers Cop Killers universe, which is like New Milwaukee, aka Neo Los Angeles or something. That universe has merged with the Chris Chan universe or something, and Chris Chan confirmed it on Twitter. I don't know.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
This
like
is
it's
like this is like watching like your alternate universe like fan fiction merge with canon and be like, what is this? It feels like the Last Jedi basically, It's like someone's
Yeah.
fan fiction just became real life, and you're like, what the heck is this?
Well, like it goes deeper than that because like Chris Chan like turned his. I think he either turned his Twitter account or he made a new Twitter. No, he made a new one. He made a new Twitter account where one of the Magichan Sonic Chews is now like merged with our dimension, and that Sonic Chew is like declaring a peace treaty with like Munchie and Ben Saint of Neo Milwaukee, New Los Angeles City, or whatever the city
Does
from
Munchie
RFCK
actually live in
is.
Milwaukee? Is that where that comes from, or like how does that work?
I no, I don't think so. Well, no, I don't think so. But like now that he's in college, he literally lives in a dorm that looks at the building that the RFCK universe is based off of. So he kind of does now. So yeah,
Because I've heard like Milwaukee, there's like this whole complex of stuff where you literally don't even need to go outside to walk around all of downtown because it's so cold there all the time that they've
hmm,
made just like this sky bridge or something, which is like a walking tunnel system above ground where you can just walk between buildings. And I was
that
like,
sounds
that's
cool,
maybe the best idea I've ever heard. Like, why don't we have more of that?
dude. I love sky stuff. Like I want more sky bridges with like glass. I build that stuff in Minecraft a lot, like stuff in the sky. I like that idea.
Okay, so this is another thing. If you talk about like making cities, you got to talk about who makes the cities, and that's government. So here's a stupid government story. So there's this like train station, like kind of like a metro station, like a I don't know what you call it. It's like an elevated train, right? There's this station here in Vancouver where they renovated it recently. Maybe it took them like 2.5 years to renovate this, and there was a sky bridge going from the mall across the street to the station. So you didn't even have to get out and walk across the street or anything like that. You could just go straight from the mall to the train station, take your train, and go wherever you needed to go, right? So
Hmm.
they've been renovating this shit for 2.5 years, and at the very end, the station is so high, the sky bridge doesn't reach it anymore. So there's now a like detached sky bridge just sticking out across the street that doesn't lead anywhere, and it's
Wait, but
not. Yeah,
wait, so you can't walk on the sky bridge anymore, or
well,
what?
you could if you want to just jump down into the street 20 feet.
So wait, so wait, so literally it's just like a. Is it roped off so people can't fall off it, or what?
It's not like closed off with cement or anything. There's just like some danger tape or whatever, but it's literally just hanging there. It's just like suspended in midair for no particular reason. And now, if you want to get to the new renovated station, you have to get down into the street, and if it's raining, get all wet and cross the
That's
street and go to the train station.
that's
And I'm
so
like,
lame,
this is so stupid. You've actually made this worse. You've spent so much money and you've actively made things worse.
dude. That's kind of funny though. That that's it's just a stupid
This
sky
is the
bridge.
most hilarious shit to me. This is like, you know when kids talk about how adults, like, like one day I'll have it figured out, I'll be an adult, and then at every point in your adult life you're like, there's someone who has it all together, and they're the ones that are running the world, and then you realize that no one knows anything and that everyone's
Yeah,
just stupid. This is like the perfect example of that, and it's
bro.
just sitting there.
This is like a literal Minecraft server building that just leads to nowhere that someone griefed or something. That's what I'm imagining.
That's basically what it is, and it
Dude,
took money and like four years or something to renovate this train station
do
just to
you
make it worse.
do you think that I guess I am sort of one of these Minecraft kids because I started being obsessed with Minecraft when I was 13. But do you think like the actual Minecraft kids who started playing it when they were like 5 or 6, do you think they're gonna grow up to be like genius architects and engineers?
I don't think
Some
so. I feel
no,
like 90% of them are just doing RP servers or something.
well, okay, yeah, but I feel like some of them are.
I
I
hope
don't know.
so.
That'd be
This
cool.
is this is what I was thinking. Like, there's this girl recently that got like kind of Twitter famous because she looked at Donald Trump. Did you know about this?
Wait, what? Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, I saw
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I
Was
feel
she?
like she's 16. So at 16, I wasn't doing jack shit for anyone. Like, I didn't even, I mean, I knew what climate change was, but I wasn't doing jack shit about climate change. And this girl is out here at 16 at the UN summit on climate change, representing the youth. I
Mm-hmm.
feel like there's some hope, even if the doomers don't want to admit there is. There's some
There,
hope.
no, there's always hope. There's always hope. I'm an optimist about the world, to be honest.
Speaking of climate change,
What?
climate change might have a little bit to do with the movie that I saw yesterday,
What movie?
Promare.
Oh yeah, was that
Yeah,
good?
it was good. I'm not gonna tell you anything about the movie because I assume you're gonna watch it yourself.
You could spoil all of it. I don't care.
Why? You're gonna watch it on Kiss Anime?
Yeah, but I don't care about spoilers. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Well, for the benefit of it's only been out like 3 days, so I won't go too
Okay.
far into it. And also,
Yeah,
I'm gonna
yeah.
make a
The
video about it.
audience. Never mind.
So,
I forgot.
what I wanted to complain about was the audience interaction. So, first of all, I fucked up. I by total accident, I went to the dubbed one instead of the subbed
Oh,
one.
wow.
Yeah,
Throwing
and I
stones at you
only
right
found
now.
out about it when the annoying gaggle of youths behind me said like 5 minutes before the movie started, like, "Oh, this is the one in English. They have a different one in Japanese with subtitles." I'm like, "Oh shit, I meant to go to that one."
Oh, you
I
went to the
fuck-
normie. You
I
are.
went to the normie one,
Yeah,
and it was at
yeah.
1 in the afternoon, so there was only like maybe 25, 30 people in the whole theater, um, and it was mostly, as far as I could tell, just fangirls. Not completely fangirls. I feel like
Ooh,
they're
did you pick
mostly.
some up?
No, I have no interest in anything. Well, once I
Okay.
finish the story, you'll understand why I have
Yeah,
no interest
sure.
in any of this. Okay,
All right.
so there's like a whole movie. It's all thematic and pretty sweet. Like it's full trigger, like full trigger, right? So
Yeah.
crazy shit is happening,
Are you
and
saying you
there's
support guns, Kaido?
support guns. What does guns have to do with trick? Oh my god! Oh Jesus! Fuck me! Why? You derailed my
No, no.
intense discussion about Promare to get off a gun pun. That's what
Go
you've
on.
just done.
Go on. No,
Do
go
you
on. I'm
feel
sorry.
proud of yourself? Okay,
Yeah,
so
that's the best thing I've ever created. Okay,
oh
go
my,
on.
go back to drawing comics. Okay,
All
here we
right.
go. So we're like in the climax of the climax. We're like Act 3.5. The movie's about to end, right? Here's the final showdown, and no, they have like there's like 7 girls sitting behind me, and they were chit chatting before the movie started, and they didn't talk about anime much at all. They just made, I mean, they made fun of it a little bit in between. They were like,
Wait,
"Oh, love
what?
is real" or whatever shit. Like anime
Whoa, whoa,
people
whoa,
make
whoa,
fun
whoa.
of anime for doing stuff like that. Like,
Wait, so they were it. All right, I
yeah,
need you to
that's the
fully
weird part.
describe. They
But
were in an anime, a
they were in,
niche.
yeah, a niche, very niche,
Yeah,
and it's
yeah,
like there's only like there's only 2 theaters that are showing this movie in the city. I had to take a train downtown to even
yeah.
see this, and they're here at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, which is like a pretty dedicated time. I feel I don't think you're going to a 1 o'clock unless you have literally nothing to do, which was my case. I had nothing to do, but unless you're completely and utterly unoccupied, you're gonna have something to do. So they're here in a group. There's like 5 of them. But I guess this is how they have fun watching anime. They were like, "Oh, the power of friendship is real," or like, "Oh,
Oh my
guys, love is
god.
gonna save the day," or whatever. I'm fine with that. I didn't get pissed. But then they didn't react in a positive way to literally anything that happened during the whole movie, except for at the very end, like 2 male characters kiss in a non-romantic way. It's in like a cardiac arrest, life-saving type way. And when this shit went down, these girls lost their fucking minds. They were like screeching and shit. And I was like, is this what autism sounds like? This is concentrated, weaponized Twitter. Like, I didn't know Twitter had a physical form. And I was like, oh my God. I didn't know Tumblr was still alive. Like, I would have
Bro,
exited even quicker from the theater if I had to after that. But it was like,
okay. I know
yikes.
I know exactly what kind of person you're talking to now because
And
at
they
my
looked exactly how you think they looked. Like
I
in your head, how you're picturing them. That's what
yeah.
they looked like. And I
Wait, were they
didn't
like
look.
14?
No, no, no. Oh no, 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 no. They were like my age, maybe older.
What?
Probably older than me.
Did they have like colored hair and like
Nah, they were more normie than that. But they were like legit sweater core to the fullest. Like they
ooh.
they you could tell there was some Tumblr ick sticking to them. And I
Were
have
they like attractive? Like,
no, unless you
okay.
like frumpy looking people. I don't know. I
Okay, so there
particularly
were.
don't.
I'm not gonna. Never mind. All right,
I don't
so
want to, I don't want to like shit on these
yeah,
people.
this is
They
getting
just,
too mean.
yeah, yeah.
But okay, so I know what you're talking about though, because at my like I think this was like last New Year's, my cousin brought her friend over, right? And so we were all like in the living room watching, me and my sister, I think her boyfriend at the time, some other cousins, we were all like just like sitting there and we were watching something. I'm like, um for some this girl was like an anime fan, and like she like put on Black Butler. Have you seen that show?
Is that is it a normal show or is it the hentai one?
No, it's like a normal show, but
Okay.
it's on Netflix. And like this show is garbage. It is such a bad show. But she was like, no, no, no. Here's what happened. I put on the first episode of Gurren Lagann, right?
Oh
And
shit.
okay, she and like halfway through it, I'm looking over and I'm like, hey, are you guys into this? If not, we can turn it off. And you know what she said to me? She said to me, she oh my god, she said to me, I don't, yeah, there's just not much going on in this show. There's just not a plot. Like, yeah, you could turn it off. And I'm like, and then she puts on Black Butler, okay? And I just wanna let you know, like, Black Butler is like the worst,
I
like,
haven't
the,
seen it. I've seen the
bro,
thumbnail on Netflix, but I haven't actually watched it.
there's like, it's like light novel, like barely any animation, like no character has any personality. And I'm watching this show, and okay, she was like angry when the woman who likes the main dude was on screen like liking him. Like she was like, oh, Sebastian or whatever, and she got angry. She was yelling at the screen. And then when Sebastian was on the screen, she was like, oh my god, Sebastian, I love you. And she was like, I hope this girl dies, when like the girl who liked him appeared on screen. And I'm like, shut up, oh my god, it's so annoying.
Oh, and at the end they were like, "Oh, we should ask the director why the climax of his movie is about the burning passion between two men." I'm like, "What the fuck movie were you watching? That's not at all what the fuck. You can't just
Dude,
force your gay agenda on it." By gay agenda, I don't mean like pro homosexuality. I mean like they're just cramming their like ships into everything. Do you get what I'm saying? Like
yeah,
it's a yeah.
where it's not there, which is like, I mean, that's fine if it's not in a movie theater where people are trying to enjoy a movie and you're screaming over nothing, you know
Yeah, it was
it's
okay. I mean, it didn't really interrupt my enjoyment of the movie though, so that's pretty good. At some point this week, I will make a Promare video. Yeah, so there's that.
dude,
Keep your eyes peeled. Okay.
I'm looking forward to it. YouTube.com/Kaido by the Sea for that.
Yeah, I still have the
Stay
custom
tuned.
URL. They didn't take that away from me when they changed the stuff. I don't know how that stayed around.
What did they change? Oh, is this the verified thing that they
No,
did
it's
or
like
something?
it used to be that if you had 100 subs, this is the good old days. Let me talk to you about the good old days, boys and girls. So in like
Boomer
2014,
alert.
yeah, 2014, 2015, I think up until 2016. Until then, if you just got 100 subs, you could get a custom URL on YouTube. So you could get like youtube.com/whatever whatever, and it would go to your page, right? And you could like make it, and you could keep it even if you went under 100 after that. So when I hit 100 subs way back, I got this custom URL, and then they changed it to now you need 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours of time. You can only get a custom URL when you get monetized.
Who? What does a custom URL even do, and who
It
cares?
doesn't really do anything. I didn't really care about it. I mean, the only difference is like if you're trying to tell someone how to find you on YouTube, you could just say youtube.com/whatever. The only difference is, I think, if it's just your username, you have to say like youtube.com/sleep/c/ your username. I think that's the only difference. There's not much difference.
Yeah, so this is like boomers like complaining that the milkman doesn't come to their doorstep every day.
No, but I mean I told you like Google owes me $67 or whatever. In
Oh
the same
yeah.
way, like they took away this option so people who got 100 subs couldn't get custom URL anymore. It was a really big deal back in the day. So here's a peek behind the curtain. Way back in like 2015 or 2016, I used to do Let's Plays, or was it 2017? That's not even that far back. Okay,
Oh, I
so
want to see
in one
these.
of these summers, I did a bunch of Let's Plays, and I was really big into the Reddit Let's Play subreddit, right?
Yeah.
And I've already talked about some like delusional things that you can find on there, but a lot of people like back then, you could make your flare like your custom URL, and that's how you like that's how people knew you were like legit if you had more than 100 subs, because most people on there have like 2 or 3 subs or whatever. And I'm
Hmm.
not saying 100 subs is a big deal. It's absolutely not. It's not a big deal at all. I'm just talking about, and in that forum at that time, you were like a cool guy if you had your flare be your custom URL. That's the only reason I'm even bringing it up. That's why I made one when I got it anyway.
Okay. Dude. Okay. So, but like, so writing. So
Oh yeah, yeah,
you're
yeah.
a
You did
writer, right?
mention you want to talk about this. Yeah, go ahead.
You're a writer, Kaido by the Sea, right?
Yeah, I hope one day because
So,
I haven't written in ages.
well, so, so this is like, picture in your mind, viewers, that we're like sitting down in like chairs, and there's like a lamp, and it's like fancy, and this is like the on the back of the author interview thing, on the back of the book, author, the back cover of the book where you see the author, and it's like the interview. It's like if you, all right. Anyways,
I think they get it. I think they Google Stephen King interview on YouTube, and that's what you're pretending this is.
okay, yeah, yeah, there we go. So, um, but actually, that's not what this is at all. So I don't know why I just said that.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
like, so
You're
for
just
writing,
confusing people. Also, Promare has only made $811,000 in the U.S. That's fucking ass.
wait,
That's really bad.
811,000.
Yeah. And
What's
6.9
the
million
budget?
worldwide, most of which
What
is in Japan.
what was the budget?
Like, I don't know, probably not like 10, 15 million, probably.
Oh my
Even movie
god.
budgets don't go that high, but like I think the difference is like you remember when your name fucking crushed it at the box office
Yeah,
for like a whole summer?
yeah.
Well, they released it in like a logical way. Like they had it in actual theaters. I didn't have to go to this one, particular theater to watch it. And there's only 2 shows of it per day. And it's not even distributed by like a normal production house. It's distributed by G Kids in Canada and the US.
What is? Yeah, that's like the new Four Kids apparently.
I don't know what it is, but it's like a kids animation production house. And
Hmm.
Your Name, for reference to how much Your Name made, which Your Name is the most successful anime movie of all time, but like it made like 350 million or something crazy.
Wow. That's
So and
good
Your
for him.
Name, like, okay, yeah, here I'm looking at it now, 352 million foreign and 5 million domestic. Um,
Okay.
which if you look at those numbers, it looks like Promare isn't doing that bad, 800,000 domestic, but the foreign numbers aren't there because I guess it's not getting released in all that many countries.
Hmm.
And I'm like, you anime fans are everywhere. You could put
Yeah.
this out wherever you, especially Studio Trigger fans. Like, there's a ton of them. If you don't put this out, they can't give you money, and the word of mouth is gonna like make sure like if you tell someone like there's like this crazy cartoon movie, even if they don't know what anime is, they're probably gonna go watch it anyway. That's how Your
I
Name kind of
don't know about
spread.
that. Mm, not with this. This is more niche than Your Name. Your Name has like a very like average appeal because people like stuff like the Notebook and stuff would like Your Name because it's like a romance thing. This is like very niche appeal.
I don't know though, cause like they say Your Name is pretty mainstream, but it was still really anime to me. Like there's this time travel bullshit, which
Yeah,
body swapping bullshit. Like there's a ton of weird stuff, and it's not like
that's not weird for media. In like, I
it's
mean,
weird for like a romance movie.
no, it's nah, not really. There's like a ton of romance movies with stuff like that. Like, there's like a romance movie with like I think I want to say Jack Black where they body swap or something.
Are you talking about? Or are you talking about Shallow Hal? That's not body
Yeah,
swapping
yeah,
though.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
He
That.
doesn't body swap though. It's just like he doesn't see the outside of people. He sees what's inside people or some shit.
Oh, I never saw that movie, but well, that's even weirder. You get what I'm saying? You get my point.
Yeah, but that has to do with like the person itself. The point of that movie is that he's a shallow person and he sees like the beauty that's inside people. That's the point.
Well,
Whereas this, it's like there's not really any point to the body swapping stuff.
well, yeah,
Like
there
he
is.
doesn't better understand women at the end of the movie or whatever the fuck.
No,
You wanted to talk about writing. Let's talk
no, no,
about the
no, no, no,
writing in
no,
your
no, no,
name.
no,
Here we
no,
go.
no, no.
No,
They
no, no.
better
I'm not
understand each
deviating off the
other.
subject. I'm just
Oh,
saying let's talk about the writing in your name since you want to talk about
okay,
writing. Kill two birds
okay,
with one stone.
all right. Wait.
No, I thought you were gonna say something. I was like,
Oh,
so
I
the okay, where I differentiate like the kind of fantastical elements of Shallow Hal and the fantastical elements of Your Name is that the time travel stuff is the same thing that guy does in every movie. Like I forget his name. I'm not very good with names, but you know the guy that I'm talking about, right?
is it Jack Black?
No, I'm talking about Your Name.
Oh,
In Your
Makoto
Name,
Shinkai.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
does
my
like
bad.
the same stuff in every movie, 5 centimeters per second. Like there's a guy and he's like some distance, either physical or some other type of distance away from a girl that he can never reach. This is like
Yeah,
his thing.
yeah.
It's being sad is like his fetish. This is what he does in every movie. So I don't think he did anything different from this. That's the only reason the time travel stuff is there, and to like fuck with your mind in the same way that it does in like a movie like Dunkirk, for example. But the whole body swapping thing, I think that was just a gimmick. I didn't think that really added anything.
Well, I mean, they come to understand each other more and each other's perspective, right? Because like he goes and like or which one swapped with which, so the guy goes to the countryside and the girl goes to the, yeah, so the girl learns what it's like to live his life and the guy learns what it's like to live her life.
Yeah, but the body swapping itself didn't do anything. They could have done the same thing if he just moved out to the country. Like there's many romance movies that do that. Like a kind of sophisticated guy moves to the country or vice versa, a sophisticated girl moves to the country, meets this guy or whatever.
Yeah,
That's
but
like a well-established romance trope.
no, but when you say that, you're making it a completely different movie, though, because like the fact that they swap bodies means so suddenly means that they couldn't just like meet up with each other automatically because it's like a sudden shift, right? It's like, oh, where am I now? Like I don't necessarily know how to get back to where I was, and this is jarring, and now I'm forced to live in this life. If it's a guy moving out to the city, then he's choosing this and he planned this.
Well,
Like
no,
that
I
would
don't
change
think
the
you
whole
choose
plot.
it because in those movies too, it's usually like, oh, my parents did a stupid thing and now I hate it. I don't want to be here. I don't really have any choice in this. That's kind of the theme in that too. The only difference is you're accomplishing it via sci-fi, mechanism in this versus just normal thing. And I don't think there's
Yeah,
anything wrong with that. I think you can do
but
whatever
that
with sci-fi, but I don't think like by because most of the movie they're not body swapped. The body swapping is only for like the first 40 minutes of the movie to establish stuff. And after that, they're both in their bodies most of the time.
I'm trying to remember the movie. Like,
Okay.
what? Okay, no, like don't they swap bodies again at the end? I thought.
They don't swap bodies again at the end. They just meet up in the timeline.
Are you sure?
He changes the timeline. So now that she's alive or whatever, and then they meet up in Tokyo. That's the end.
No, I thought they switched bodies because that's how she came up with that plan at the end, right?
What plan?
The plan to like stop the bomb or the meteor. Or
I don't
no,
know.
not to stop it, to save the town. Because
This may
remember
not
she.
be the best movie to talk about because I don't remember either. I only watched it once too.
Wait, no, she didn't. Did
I'm
never
fairly
mind.
certain he comes up with the plan after they stop swapping bodies. Like he becomes aware of her, like what she is and what happened to her town, and he realizes that he has to make this plan to save her, and she executes the plan. Is that how it works? It's something like that. We should probably stop talking about this because we have no idea what we're talking about.
Yeah, I forgot. I'm confused now. Like I think I don't know which is right to be honest.
I have no clue. I don't really have any interest in watching it again, even though it is on Netflix, and I
Oh, it
could watch it.
is.
It is, yeah. I
Aren't they
mean, of
making a
course it's on
live action
Netflix.
of that?
Oh my god.
I
I,
heard that it was directed by that dude who did Star Wars. What's his name? J.J. Abrams.
J.J. Abrams is like an industry plant at this point. Like he's like the new Ron Howard.
Bro, okay, let me think. I was thinking about this. What does industry plant even mean?
He's not there because of any artistic talent that he has. He's just there because industry people like him.
Isn't that literally every artist?
No, some of them have talent.
No, 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 no. But your position isn't always measured. Isn't always because of your talent. Like you have
Yeah,
to.
no. There's some
So
luck involved in everything, but I think
well,
some people did genuinely earn their
no, no, no.
position from
It's
their
not.
talent.
It's not luck. It's mostly like how you market your good work. Like so, like to say someone is an industry plant, like okay, people were calling Billie Eilish an industry plant, right, in the music industry, but it's like, what does like I don't get it. Like I don't get why. I guess
Okay,
okay, I don't get why that's
maybe it's more useful to say like who an actual industry plant is before we argue whether J.J. Abrams is one or not. Like
who's
Taylor
an
Swift
actual.
to me is an industry plant.
Okay, explain that.
So, because her dad owns part of the music label that she ended up debuting with or whatever, and she was like given extensive, like basically idol classes like they give the Korean people to make K-pop idols, kind of like that.
Mm.
Like she was manufactured; it wasn't natural. Um,
Oh, okay.
and like her dad, she really wanted to become a music star, so her dad like made it possible through his connections or whatever. I'm not too well informed about this story either. Call this the uninformed podcast, but hey, that's how it
Okay.
goes. So to me, she's an industry plant because she wasn't like discovered. And then the exact opposite of that is like Nirvana or whatever, like a
Yeah.
band that just came up in Seattle and they were discovered for their like grunge aesthetic, and then they got picked up and became really popular. Like that's the opposite.
Okay, I see what you mean. Okay, I guess what I'm trying to say is, why is industry plant a criticism that people lobby? That's what I'm trying to get at. Like I don't understand why people care.
Well, okay. So I didn't make the term, but this is my interpretation: is that you don't really deserve your position. You're kind of just there because of factors outside of your creative like output. I think is the point.
Well, like okay, that
I
seems
don't
like
think marketing is the same thing. I don't think
well,
marketing is the same thing because if
no,
your
no, no, it's
product is
not.
shit and you just market it, that's different than if your product is good and you market it.
No, I agree. I agree. Yeah, but like okay, if people are, I don't know. That's such a. I feel like that's such an unhelpful way to view like life because it's like if you're just sitting here going, "Oh yeah, Taylor Swift's an industry plant," like oh, she only got there because of her dad. Well, it's like, aren't you just being bitter?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I don't
There's
understand.
obviously a big element of like sour grapes to all of this. Like I think
Yeah,
the implication is, oh, if I had successful parents who could buy a music label for me, I could be Taylor Swift. But obviously, not everyone can be Taylor Swift because she clearly has some work ethic to make it to where she is.
yeah.
Um, but for me, when I say industry plant with like J.J. Abrams, I mean like he's not really going to do anything like out of the box or creative with anything. Like Ron Howard isn't going to do anything mind blowing when he directs some shit. He's just putting out a movie.
Okay.
He's
I
just getting it
see.
made.
Okay, so he just does what the executives tell him to
Yeah,
do. He takes
he
all.
just does
Okay,
as he's told. And
I see
like
what you
all the
mean.
Marvel movies have directors that pretty much do that, with like very
Yeah.
few exceptions. They pretty much just want that. They want someone who just listens to their direction and can get it done. Like that's the whole point.
So when you say that J.J. Abrams was an industry plant, you mean it in a different sense than like Taylor Swift is an industry plant?
Yeah, I guess. Maybe that wasn't the best
Okay.
way to phrase it. He's like an industry insider. He's not really a creative person. He's not like
Okay.
James Gunn, Edgar Wright type person who wants to do something actually creative. By the way, did you hear that James Gunn is making a Suicide Squad reboot?
No. Wait.
Yeah,
So the
yeah,
first one
yeah.
was so bad they're rebooting it
Yes,
like two
exactly. The
years
first
later.
one is basically when Disney like fired James Gunn for the 18 months or whatever that they fired him, he went over to DC. When Marvel fired him, he went over to DC and he was like, "Yo, bro, give me something." And DC was like, "What do you want to do?" And he's like, "What about Suicide Squad?" And they're like, "We just made that." And he's like, "Yeah, but I want to do it." And they're like, "Okay, that's fine. Let's just do it."
See, that's what I mean. Just in the original IP. There we go.
It is their IP though. They own the IP.
Yeah, but I mean, Suicide Squad is a comic book that was from the 1980 1800s,
Yeah.
rebooted a
The
million
funny thing
times.
is, the first one was called Suicide Squad. They're gonna call this one the Suicide Squad. I'm not even kidding. I'm not even kidding though. Like that's legit their title. That's the I don't know if that's the working title or the real title, but that's like the slated title that's gonna show up in theaters is the
Okay,
Suicide Squad.
now that you say that, what the now that you said that thing about J.J. Abrams, I'm wondering if the whole Disney firing James Gunn for tweets thing was really just them getting rid of him because he was being too creative.
They hired him back.
Oh, they did.
Yeah,
Oh, for
they hired him
PR.
back. They already started filming Guardians 3.
Oh, okay. Well, never mind. That theory's dead then.
This is the thing though. Like when people saw that they fired him, they were like, "Oh, Disney's so stupid." I'm like, from what we've seen, that was actually the biggest brain play that they could have made because they reaped the like media positive attention on both sides. When the media people wanted him to be gone, they fired him. So then people were like, "Thank you, Disney, for like taking action against people who say dumb shit or whatever." And then when people wanted him hired back, they hired him back. So now they get milking, they get the milk on both ends.
Bro, dude, I hate everything about the. Okay, I know I just said I had an optimistic output on life, but here I'm going to reverse that. Dude, when it comes to like all this, like, Disney bought the rights to this and then they made this decision to do this, and then, like, oh, now Spider-Man's traveling between 50 different things. I'm just like, like, kill me. Like, I hate all this. Like, this is stupid. This is the bad part of art where all this, like, capitalistic, like, commerce, like,
Well,
red
this isn't art
tape.
to me.
I
To me,
hate
this isn't
this.
art. Like this is just business.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's why I hate it. It's like you're
Well, yeah. I
taking,
mean,
yeah,
artists famously hate business. That's why they get
yeah,
exploited at every turn because they don't know what to do with
exactly.
business.
It's stupid. Just make a movie. Like, just shut up, make the movie. I don't like. It's so stupid. Like, ugh. I'm
Well,
mad.
this is basically how everyone feels now because Disney owns everything, um, and like they have a streaming service. Apple has a streaming service. Netflix is like a piece of shit now because especially if you have Netflix that's not the U.S. Netflix, it's like complete ass. Like I spent like 20 minutes yesterday trying to find something to watch on Netflix, found nothing, turned it off, and went to sleep. Like this is how every one of my nights goes. There's nothing good to watch on Netflix.
Yeah,
But I still pay like a crap ton of money for it, like $12 a month or something stupid.
that's the thing. Why everybody says they hate Netflix, but they always pay for it? I don't get that.
Yeah, I'm only paying for it because without it, I wouldn't have any TV at all. My TV would just be like a gigantic boondoggle in the middle of the living room. There's no point
Well,
having it other than that. I can't get Disney Plus or any of those because they don't exist in Canada yet. So I'm
oh
just waiting on that at this point. I think it's supposed to
God,
start in September.
that's so weird to think. That's so. Why wouldn't it exist there? That's so weird.
It released in the US like months and months ago, and we're
Oh,
still waiting for it. I
that's
have no
so
idea why.
stupid.
And they're not even sure like what programs will be available on Disney Plus because Disney has a separate broadcasting agreement for some of their shows in Canada. So some of their shows might not even come to the streaming service. So we just get fucked over again, even though we have to pay the same amount of money. We just get a worse service.
Aren't dude? Aren't okay? Aren't all their shows for like like for Disney Channel? Like, aren't all those stupid like sitcoms made in like Canada and like the
Yeah, I feel like
Nickelodeon
they
ones
are.
too?
Every
Yeah.
cheap production is made in Canada. That's just how it works.
So are they just like exploiting Canada and then not bringing anything over there? Is that what they're doing?
Basically, yes. That's how it
This is
works.
stupid.
They just pay the film industry here in Vancouver and Toronto, and then they just don't bring us any of the shows. So there could be a time where literally like people who worked on the show couldn't even watch it because it's not available in Canada.
Bro, it's a deep metaphor because just like the tap taking the syrup out of the maple tree, Disney is taking the is taking is like they're taking the shows out of the tree that is Canada and
I
then
really
bringing
feel
them.
like I have to go to a maple farm at this point. If I don't, I feel like I'm just being anti-patriotic.
Yeah,
Wait,
that's
I'll give you
true.
some real maple syrup at some point in your life.
I should ship some of these Parley G cookies to you.
No, I'm good. You actually get them over here. You
Oh,
could just buy them.
okay.
I'm legit. You could buy them at Walmart.
Oh yeah, I mean, you could probably buy them at Walmart here too,
Yeah,
but
I mean, I don't know how many Indian people there are where you live, but wherever there are a bunch, there's that stuff everywhere.
there's an Indian market that should I say her name? Who cares? Miss Sheila goes to get the snacks and stuff.
Yeah,
So
so she gets it from there, and they buy it from like wholesalers probably. But here you could just legit buy it at any store because there's so many people who want it that they just put it out anyway.
I see. I got the impression from you because you were like, "Oh, I remember this from my childhood that it was really rare where you lived."
No, I just don't eat it anymore because it's just
Oh,
glucose. Like it's just sugar. It's not really
okay.
useful for anything.
Never mind. I'm like a child then because I eat like fruit roll-ups and all this garbage, so
Oh
I'm
yeah.
used to
Do
eating
you want
that.
to talk about your weight loss transformation? Not that you were fat to begin with, but like, how many calories you were consuming from sugary drinks?
Oh yeah, I was consuming a lot. You know what? I'm gonna admit this. I stopped drinking soda for a while, and then I lost a lot of weight. But now I'm drinking it again. But I don't think it's affected me that much. But I do drink soda like almost every day now. Don't tell anybody.
This is a thing. I feel like comic artists either drink coffee or soda or smoke. So I'd rather you drink soda than any of those.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I guess you're right. Cause sometimes, yeah, sometimes I do feel like I need that caffeine to
Because
keep it going.
like in Bakuman, there's a recurring joke where they always talk about they drink this like super hard like coffee drink. They always have it whenever they're doing stuff. They just put the cans like in the scenes around everywhere. It's actually
Dude, okay, you know what blows my mind? The when you said in your what was it? What's that stupid show? Fire Force. Yeah, that garbage show. In your Fire Force review, you were saying how the dude who makes Fire Force, he used to when he was making a Soul Eater do 40 pages in one day?
no. He used to do 19. He used to do 40 pages a month.
No, but he did. Didn't you say he
Yeah,
crunched
yeah.
it like at the end?
He crunched it like all at the end. He used to do it in like a week, less than a week.
Bro, what? Do you know how insane that is? Do you know how
Yeah.
actually
And
crazy
if
that
you
is?
see the artwork that he does, it's nuts because his art is
Yeah,
insanely good. Like
I
actually
know.
crazy.
That is, dude. How can you? What? Like he must be a superhuman. Like I don't understand that. Like that is insane.
And Soul Eater is not even like the most successful manga ever, so he probably doesn't even have like 7, 8 assistants. He probably only has like 2 or 3 assistants max helping
Yeah,
him.
that is crazy that he could even pull that off. Thank you. Okay,
This
so
is gold. This is golden content.
are you
It's
keeping
even
that?
better than your dog. I don't know. You
Are
tell
you?
me.
I don't know.
You
Um.
might dox yourself. Also, it's like there's this like, there was this news article about a grown ass man in Ireland who lost his Irish accent because he was talking to his like guild mates in the U.S. Have you heard
Oh,
about
I've
this?
dude, I've heard about not that specific thing, but I've heard people say that that happens because like so much online interaction, you lose your accent.
Isn't that what happened to you?
No. Well, I don't have that much of a. Well, maybe I don't know. Huh.
Oh my God, you were talking too much to the kids in Minecraft, and now you sound like a normal person.
Well, I never played Minecraft online, so it was probably TF2 or Counter Strike that did it. I don't
Well,
know.
if it was Counter Strike, you'd have a Russian accent.
People say that, but I've never. I don't.
Yeah, I think
I don't.
I played Counter Strike for a very short amount of time, but I feel like there's not as many Russians as people say.
Yeah. Okay. I will. I think I found. I think in my time playing Dota 2, though, I may have encountered one or two Russian people.
I feel like Dota 2 is like super popular in like the Southeast Asia islands places like Malaysia, the Philippines. Philippines loves Dota. I don't no idea why.
Dude, the Philippines sound is interesting to me. Like I've talked to. Okay, here's a story. So I was in this app called Amino, and I was just looking for anime like voice chat servers to join to talk to people because they have like things where you could set up a public voice chat server and enter anyone's like talk if they set it to public. And so okay, I swear this was an accident. I clicked on a voice chat thing, and it literally said Filipino servers, no foreigners allowed. And it was a singing server for people who are singing. And so I click on it, and I see that it says no foreigners, and I'm like, oh, but like I start talking. No, I start talking before I see that, and the people were like, they were like, oh hey gigabytes, how are you doing? And I'm like, oh wait, am I supposed to be here? This says no foreigners. And they're like, no, it's okay. You can stay here because we need to practice our English talking to you. And so yeah, and I entered it, and I was like, huh.
The
But
Philippines
then
is a weird country too. It's really weird. Like they're like completely dependent on their workers going abroad and sending money back home.
huh,
And their number one and number two like workers that they send abroad, number one is nurses, and number two is cover bands.
cover bands. What?
Yes, yeah. I learned this from Anthony Bourdain. It's kind of nuts. Apparently, Filipino people, or like they have this culture, or they've been successful doing cover band type deals for a long time, and it just kind of grew to the point where whenever anyone needed a cover band, they just hired like a Filipino cover band, I guess.
Okay.
So
All
now
right.
half their economy is based off of cover bands sending back money.
Is the theme of this podcast just going to be original content needs to die, and we should all just cover everything and
I
like,
think it should be called like woefully uninformed.
okay, so I want to talk about writing characters because so I find that when writing a story, right, it's like, to me it's like puzzle pieces, right? You're like, oh, I have all these cool ideas, but then the whole problem of storytelling, or the, I guess, the act, it's an act and a problem, I guess, because you have to solve it. How you merge everything is like a puzzle piece. Like, you have these elements and you have to jigsaw puzzle them together to make it all make sense. And like the act of stitching everything together in a cohesive narrative and showing exactly how to show your character's characterization and how to present everything is the part that is the most rewarding and also the most difficult. Thoughts on this?
Just like putting it together, making a coherent story.
Yeah.
I feel like if you really want to get into I think it's very medium dependent. First of all, like how you put a story together, but the basics of storytelling are like things we kind of know already. Like we have to have this challenge. There has to be like some kind of transformation, and the character has to change, and then there's like an ending. There's like a resolution. But I feel
Mm-hmm.
like a lot of the specific storytelling elements can be very medium specific. Like, um, do I think the best kind of like way to go about learning how to get really good at the storytelling that you want to do is just read and consume more of the stuff that is like the stuff that you want to do, and then you kind of like subconsciously understand that, oh, like I need to have like this is a good type of panel layout to tell this type of story, or to be like I want this character to do this because they need to have this kind of transformation by the end. I need to set that up. I feel like if you just participate more in the medium that you're trying to get involved in, I feel like that helps more than anything.
Yeah, I agree because reading a bunch of webtoon comics like really like inspired me, and just reading comics in general, because well, webtoon has a very specific format, which is the scrolling format, so you can do a lot of things that are specific to that medium. But just reading all comics in general just helps you like with understanding layouts and how to do perspective, which is, and posing, which is the hardest thing. That's 80% of the work with comics, like making a dynamic, interesting pose. Yeah.
Yeah, and you drawing people blow my mind when you do stuff like this. How you can draw one character from like three different perspectives and have it look nice all three ways. It's kind of crazy. I suck at drawing so bad. I can't even imagine doing it that well.
Well, you say that, but like if you like you say you suck at drawing, right? But like sucking at something is the, oh my god, I was just about to quote Jake the dog. All right.
You might as well go for it. Your Adventure Time is like, section 2 on your brand identity. First one is Homestuck. Part 2 is Adventure Time. So why not?
Sucking at something is the first step to being kind of good at something.
I've
Jake the
I've
dog.
literally seen that meme like around somewhere. I think
Hey
I know
man.
exactly what you're talking about. So it's definitely gone mainstream.
Well, like that's how um that's how like I do anything. Like cuz I don't you have to like stop caring to get stuff done essentially. Like you have to stop like being like, "Oh, is this good enough?" Like, "Oh, I have to wait until I have these resources to make my masterpiece." The Casey Neistat philosophy, you just kind of have to do stuff like, you know.
Yeah. And that guy who I recommended to you that you watch yesterday, Howard Wimhurst, he has like
Yeah.
the same when watch his video about Bahi JD, who's like one of the best animators in the game currently. And that dude used to do everything, even when he was working on like pro level stuff. He used to do it with just like Adobe Flash and
Mhm.
Intuos tablet. Now he did everything with that. He did Space Dandy with that, and I was like,
Whoa,
okay,
really?
if he did Space Dandy with that, you do not need anything to do whatever you want to do. Like, you could just do whatever with whatever.
Oh yeah, dude. Well, like yeah, space. I mean, Space Dandy, and I mean, it's all just animation. Like you can find a bunch of YouTube animators who are making like crazy like anime level like professional looking animated stuff. Like that guy Rice Pirate.
Oh no, what did he do?
He's like well right now he's making like a JoJo's Bizarre Adventure like fan made motion comic, and it looks like crazy. Like
I
it looks
pray
like
nobody copyrights that. I pray to God.
Dude, I was thinking the same thing because he's like a professional animator and voice actor, but like he's also doing this on the side, and he's doing it like for non-profit gain, but it looks insane. So I'm like, please don't shut this down. Nobody shut this down.
The people
Like,
like him are the people that I'm like, ugh, they do so much stuff. I feel like a sack of shit every time someone talks about all the things that they do in a day. I'm like, whew, that's a lot of things.
it's crazy, dude.
Yeah, the
People,
guy's
it's
nuts.
crazy. Yeah. The dude. Okay, so there was this kick, not Kickstarter. Was it a Kickstarter? Yeah, I think anyways, there was this team of people doing this. The Mother series or Earthbound Mother
Oh yeah,
One,
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Is it like a revive? I think I heard about this, but go ahead.
Mother Four. They were making their own Mother Four game, like, and it was like, and what's interesting to me is like when I was looking at this game, I'm like, okay, this looks amazing, and this looks like Shigesato Itoi, the creator of the series, has famously said that he would never make another Mother game. But honestly, this looks like if he made another Mother game. Like, what's crazy is the Mother games aren't well. Do you care about spoilers for the Mother? Okay.
No,
Do
I'm
you
I'm
care?
never gonna play it. It's like an RPG or something, right?
Okay, yeah, it's like the best. Mother 3 is like the best JRPG ever made. But yeah, so so Mother 3 is kind of connected to the Earthbound universe in a weird way. But wait, Matt's gonna listen to this podcast. Never mind, I won't spoil it because he's
Yeah,
never
don't.
mind.
Just
Okay,
let him be. Let him be.
all right. So all the Mother games take place in a separate universe. So I'm like, okay, but there's like it's kind of like Final Fantasy where they all have common enemies and stuff like that. And so I'm looking at this game and I'm like, dude, if you took out the Mr. Saturn characters and you took out a little bit of common like enemies and elements, this is just your own indie game. Like, why don't you like? I'm like so much effort into this, and this could just be an indie. You could just say do what Undertale did and just say that it's inspired by Earthbound, and like, wouldn't you make more money? But like, I like why would you? I'm like you're putting so much work into this, and like I'm scared that Nintendo's gonna shut it down. Is what I'm trying to say basically, because like it's like it's
But I think
crazy.
the same reason that you would want to make something like the type of person that would want to make a revival game like that is the exact type of person that wouldn't want to just genericize it. They want it to be very specific, if that makes
Yeah,
sense. Like
yeah, I get yeah.
like the people who ran those like WoW private servers, they could have just used different assets or whatever, and then they might have ended up actually being able to make money off of the game. But they
Hmm.
don't care about that. They just want WoW to be back. Like that's the whole point.
Yeah.
That's their like
Yeah.
that's like their whole thing, right? So I think I don't know. I hope it turns out good. Like Nintendo and copyright these days is crazy. They're pulling sites off of the web like, oh my god, kind of
Like
nuts.
Thanos snapping.
I wish it was all just gone at once so we could just live with it. They kind of just like pull them down one by one whenever they feel like it.
Dude, the Emu Paradise, rest in peace.
Ooh, dude, when that went down, oh my! I went one like I just went there one day like a couple years ago. I was like, where'd all the stuff go? And I was like, oh shit, Nintendo killed them.
Even the PlayStation stuff, which makes no sense. Like,
No, they just like threatened the whole site. They were like, we see you. If you keep doing this, we're gonna get everyone on you. So you better just not do anything. And I'm like, ugh.
don't didn't they literally use that site though to get their ROMs for their virtual consoles
Yeah,
and Nintendo
yeah,
Classics?
and that's the crazy thing. When they put out that Super Nintendo emulator or whatever for like $100, they
Oh
checked
my
the
god.
MD5 checksums on all the games, and it was all just like pulled off of the internet. I'm like, they're
Oh my
providing a
god.
public service even for you, and you still had to take them down. That's nuts.
It's crazy. That dude. I'm happy I have those. Well, I mean, well, to be real, you could still find them a lot of places, but like, I'm happy I downloaded every Super Nintendo game and every NES game. Which, by the way, it's not all of them because I still need to find a ROM pack that has all the Japanese ones. That's harder for me to find, but I'm gonna do that one day. So I'm trying to archive ROMs on my PC.
And I think at the end of the day, you don't actually accomplish any goal of like actually eliminating those games from the internet because once it goes
Yeah,
up, it ain't coming down. You're just pushing it more and more underground, and it just makes it so less and less people have exposure to your old stuff. Because I feel like
exactly.
if you started playing, like, let's say you don't have a DS or whatever, right? And you just
Hmm.
want to, you have a phone. Everyone has a phone these days, and a phone is all you need to play like most of these Nintendo games. And once you get like into their whole Nintendo like lifestyle ecosystem type stuff, when you get money, you're gonna buy whatever they're selling. So you have a fan
Exactly.
there, even if they don't give you money. I don't get why, companies don't get this. Like they sacrifice the long term probable benefit for the short term, like $5 or whatever. It's
Dude,
so stupid.
it is really stupid and like like okay, as much as I like piracy is a weird like okay, I think that the way that content is delivered to us needs to either match or be better than piracy to defeat it. I think this is why Netflix has gotten so much popularity because you can just because it's like okay, you could just stream the shows. It's on demand. It's like better than piracy. Like it's
Yeah.
easier. Like
And
that's
Netflix
why
isn't even
yeah.
the best example of like Spotify is the number one
Yeah,
example. No one
there
wants
you
to go
go.
digging through a million sites to find all the songs. Like, but if you just give it to them, they're like, oh, here, this is just everything. Every song ever is just here. You can listen to it all
Mhm.
for like a monthly fee or even free if you just listen to the ads. And people are like, okay, let's do that. I don't want to dig through all these sketchy sites that could give you viruses or whatever.
Yeah.
Um, and I think we're gonna go back to more piracy because like Game of Thrones was the most pirated season of Game of Thrones ever this season, in season 8. That's partially because like my friend in Australia, he literally cannot watch Game of Thrones. He has to wait like 2 months or something to watch
That's
it
so
in a legal
stupid.
way. So he's like, "What am I gonna do? Just wait 2 months and have everything spoiled for me? Yeah, no, no, thanks. I'm not gonna do that." So
Yeah,
like,
no
if
one's
you
doing
make it
that.
available, people will pay. That's what has been shown through every single model ever. But then nobody learns, and now we have all these like streaming service exclusive shows. Like everyone was watching Friends on Netflix. It's going to the NBC streaming app or whatever in 2020, 2021, whatever it is. So what do you think is going to happen? People are going to pay for that on top of Netflix? No, people are
It's
just going to pirate it. That's what's going to
yeah.
happen.
It's just becoming cable TV again. Well, it's just like oh, a new paradigm is going to have to come up to defeat streaming because streaming is just going to become cable now that it's run by all now that it's so like oh big businesses have all caught on and they're like oh let's just ruin this, you know.
And it's so there's like 42 streaming services. I'm just like
Exactly.
at some point I'm just going to quit and just make my Plex server real good, and
Yeah.
just live off of that because that's cheaper. You could buy a few
Dude,
hard drives.
and like Spotify and like I feel like having I feel like old stuff is important for you to like have access to. Like it blew my mind, by the way, that like the Beatles' entire discography have only been like on Spot. Like they got on Spotify like 2 years ago or something. Like
Yeah, there
just
was
now got
some.
on Spotify or
I think the
something.
reason is because like Michael Jackson owned all the Beatles stuff or something.
Oh yeah, that's
There
right.
was something like that. Like he he had a discussion with Paul McCartney way back in the day, and Paul was
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, you should really own your masters." And then Michael Jackson was like, "Okay, cool. Yeah, give me my masters and give me the Beatles ones too." I was like, "Ugh, he screwed them over, kind of."
Yeah. Like but dude, like that is so it is so weird to me that the Beatles took so long to get on streaming services because it's like such an important band. Like why wouldn't that be on there? I don't get it. Like, it's like all this old stuff like I think it's cool to preserve it. Like you need to preserve all the stuff. Like,
Yeah,
oh,
and
dude,
yeah, go ahead.
Jimi Hendrix makes me mad because like his stuff is owned by his like family and they're like really weird about the rights to it. Like they take down people's YouTube videos of Jimi Hendrix songs and it's like, dude, just put the music like just let people listen to it. Like, are you stupid? It's Jimi Hendrix. Like, you know how important this is to for people to listen to?
And
Like,
this is like a similar argument to what like old hip hop heads have about like the rap game is like people these days don't know the proper context of how things got here. Like if you start getting into movies, people always tell you to like watch old movies first before you start getting to the new stuff. They'll be
yeah.
like watch what Raging Bull or like whatever, Metropolis or like all these movies, Citizen Kane, all these movies that kind of like established the movie as a genre. Like this is the reason that every movie is the way it is today. So
Mhm.
like what you were talking about the Beatles and everything kind of put me in a similar mindset. It's like you have to understand how things got here to know how to take things forward. And I think this is like a creator thing more than anything. It's like there's this interest in knowing how the art form developed in the first place, and then
Yeah.
you can then take it wherever you want to take it.
And I don't think you have to
Someone give
uh,
me the timestamps.
what hold on. I wrote down the last one. This is 108. If you want to cut this, you can. I
I'm at
am
108 as well, so it's fine.
you're the CEO of
I'm
Coast
the
Town
CEO.
Industries.
I've
I'm
never
giving
been
you
CEO of anything before. I feel like I have
I'm
no power trip whatsoever.
you have full creative control. You know what? Cut this or not. I don't care about being doxxed. My name's Oliver, by the way, audience. So there you go. I don't care anymore.
Yeah, I feel
So,
like you should like you talked to me about wanting to change your channel name, right? You can cut this too if you want.
no, no,
I
no,
feel
no.
like,
Don't cut anything. But okay, do you know? Speaking of listening to old hip hop, oh my god. Okay, you might actually want to cut what I'm about to say.
oh god,
The reason
is
that
it
I
Vanilla
wanted,
Ice? Is that what it is?
no, 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 no. I listened to Jay Z's Reasonable Doubt.
And you hate it?
No, no, no. It was a good album, but in that album, he uses a what I presume to be a slur that starts with a J that is similar to my name, and I'm like, is
Oh,
my
is
name a
that why you wanted
slur?
to change it?
Yeah, like
It
because I'm a
doesn't even sound the same though, because yours is just gigabytes with the
but
J.
but but I just got self conscious because I'm like, oh my god, is it like are people gonna think I'm racist? But
No, you
it's
don't
the
have. I mean, I would change your name for different reasons. I just feel like your vibe is not really a gigabytes vibe. I feel like you're more like an Oliver type. Like you could put Oliver in your channel name, and I feel like that would just be a better vibe.
I don't. Well, I don't know. Oliver is too like as a channel name. It's too like
No,
formal.
just not just Oliver. You could be like Oliver talks art or Oliver talks or whatever. Like the tech people do something like that.
That's. I feel like that's too formal though. Like, you know what I
Is it
mean?
because you just think your name sounds really formal?
Kinda like it. Like I want it to be like a internet username, like culture type thing. Like I want to keep.
Like donkey? Like I don't know. I don't know. I don't think
Yeah.
you have to do that anymore in this day and age. I feel like you
No,
could get
but
away with whatever you want.
I want to keep that alive because I actually like that. I don't know.
Just make it like Oliver 23 or whatever, like a number.
I like cringe
Oh,
a
yeah.
lot,
I know. It's really your aesthetic more than anything else.
dude. That's why I like Homestuck so much.
Oof. This is not giving me a good reason to read it, by the way.
Okay, All right. I look, as we've established, I'm really bad at selling to things.
Which,
So
I mean, if you don't have to sell your own comic, I'll sell it for you. Go read on Webtoons. No, I'm just kidding.
you should do an analysis of my comic.
Maybe after you do a couple more pages, because I feel like you need a substantial amount of out stuff out there for me to really get into it.
Yeah, that'd be a really weird dynamic. Don't do that. But
This is like Digibro analyzing his own music or whatever, or like
y-
no, he analyzed the person who analyzed his music. You know about that?
yeah, that video I
Yeah,
could not sit through. That was
I saw
too
the first 2 minutes. I was like, this is a little bit too self
pretentious.
indulgent. Like,
Yeah. Okay. But like I feel like okay, I do this thing where with creativity, I'll like I think about my comic a lot and where it's going because it's weird like what's being shown now and maybe this is at fault for me because I'm bad at pacing and releasing, so maybe this is my fault, but what I see now that I'm putting like out, I'm looking at the arc like in my head I'm constantly in the arc like two arcs later, but like when I'm drawing it I feel like oh I'm stuck, like I'm locked here, like I have to make the story to get to make this to make the story, you know what I mean,
yeah,
because
I
it's
know what you're
like
talking about. I know what you're talking about.
yeah.
So, like, I guess you're one of those people who they're like not. This is not definitive or like completely exclusive or anything like that. But there's in general there are like two types of authors. Like there are people who like to have everything planned out and they like to write outlines and have things done so they know where they're going before they even start. And there are people who like they're called gardeners. They kind of just
Gardeners and architects, right?
yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
you just kind of fuck around and get shit done. But I feel like if you're just getting started writing, you kind of get pigeonholed into being a gardener just because you don't know what to do.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't have to exclusively be one or the other. You can do part of one, part of the other. Like you could have a loose outline and then change things when you feel like something needs to be changed or whatever. Maybe do an outline of some stuff that you want to do or like
Oh,
maybe a
oh,
general direction of where you want the story to go. Because I thought you said you had like big plans for things.
no, that's what I'm saying. Like I have a lot of outlines, but like in what I'm saying is like, it gets weird to where it gets weird for me because I'm constantly thinking about where the outline is because the outline outlines like like the
Yeah,
plot.
it's too big scale maybe. You need like a smaller outline.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Well, like I think I'm both a gardener and an architect because
Yeah.
the outline the outline is weird because like it is like small scale but it's also big scale. Like it's just like it's how it's almost like how I speak and how my mind works. Like it's like I have an idea, I have to write it down, and then like what I was saying earlier, it's like puzzle pieces. Like I have to puzzle piece it together because like the outline is both specific and vague in a lot of aspects, and the vague parts are what I have to jigsaw puzzle together, and basically what I was trying to say earlier was like when I'm drawing the comic, I'm drawing the early parts, but I have a lot of the longer parts planned out. I
Yeah.
don't yeah like, but like also everything is loose so that it can change if need be. That's what I'm trying to say. You see what I mean?
I mean, like the early parts of a story is where you really like just can mess around without having too many consequences. Like you can see this a lot in a lot of early stuff. Like it's usually just one-off adventures and like not too consequential stuff that happens before the real meat and potatoes of the story gets like dig into. Does that make
Mm-hmm.
sense? Like
Yeah,
you have
Harry
the
Potter.
luxury to like mess around with stuff. You don't really have to have it all nailed down now. You can kind of just experiment with stuff that you think might be a good idea, and then when you find out that it's not, you can change course and adjust to the stuff that you really think you should be doing, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
so the I think that you're right. I've given myself a lot of room to do that because the first main big story arc actually starts okay, after this I'm going to call it the frog arc that the story is currently in. after the Frog arc ends, there's a period where things are going to settle down and we're going to get a lot of character interaction. And then there's going to be an incident that incites our characters to go to the place where the first major story arc happens. And but that first major story arc area, um, okay, I'm just gonna say it. They're gonna go to a city, and so this is gonna be a
Do you
very
want to spoil your own comic? I feel like you should talk in vagaries. Well, if you want to talk, I guess it's fine.
well. Going to a city is a very vague description, right?
Yeah, good point.
Yeah. So there's a city that they're going to go to, and that city is very large, and there's going to be a lot of wiggle room for what happens in that city. That's all I'm saying. You know
Is
what?
it like this
Maybe I should
reminds me of
cut.
the first time you go to the store in Pokemon where there's like a thing you store you can buy general items from, or you go to the city in Pokemon with the store in it. This is what I immediately cut to when you said big city.
Wait, which Pokemon big city? Because in Black
I
and White,
forget,
there's an actual big city.
in every Pokemon there's a big city though, isn't there?
Well, like in Black and White, it's like actually based off New York City, and it's like
Oh, well, not that. I meant like the
okay,
old school ones. Is it? I don't know any names. I am horrible with names, but you know what I'm talking about.
you talking about like Rustboro City from Gen 3,
Sure, sure. Let's just say it was that.
the one where the city where there's the Pokemon Lab where you get your
There's
first
just like
egg.
a really, what's it called? The Sky Tower? Not that. Not Sky Tower. It's like a really big building. There's like 5, 6 floors of stores on it. That's what I meant.
Lily
This is
Cove.
this is really just. I was just trying to make a giggle, make a joke. So
Oh,
let it die in peace. We'll just move on.
that's Lily Cove. Okay, anyway, never mind. All right, so I don't know. Should we cut that part where I say they're going to a city out? I don't know.
No, it's fine. Like you said, it's pretty vague.
Yeah, it is vague. But it's almost too specific.
How
Never
is it
mind.
too specific? It's a city. It could
Yeah,
be any city. It could be
yeah, that's
whatever.
right. Well, yeah, and it's also. Oh yeah, here's another thing. There's no humans in this story.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a complete. This is like a complete like furry thing. Like I'm not a furry,
Yeah.
but
Well, you should specify that, I think, after you say there are no humans in the story.
I'm not a furry, but wink, wink. That's all I'm saying.
I wouldn't object if you happen to have a little bit of grass on your lawn. Is that what you're trying to say?
What is that? What does that mean?
I don't know. You're the one making furry jokes.
What is grass? Is that a furry thing? Grass on your lawn?
No, it's like there's a lawn. If it's like a barren lawn, there's no grass, and if it's a fully decked out lawn, there's some grass.
I don't know what you're saying, but it's really funny.
Okay, let's just. I don't know. Maybe you like grass, maybe you don't. Let's just keep that vague for
I
now. You were
don't
talking
know
about
what
writing.
the metaphor is, but okay.
Never
All right.
mind. Never mind.
Okay. Okay, so what were we talking about?
You're talking about writing, I think.
Okay, yeah. So it's the being an architect in storytelling is surreal when you're writing the parts that are early because you already have the parts that are planned out. That's what I'm trying to say. Do you
Hmm.
have you experienced that at all when writing?
I'm a full-on gardener, so I'm the total opposite. I just guess I get stuck up too much in the moment, and I don't transition properly to the next moment. So
Hmm.
I'm like the exact opposite. I have no plan whatsoever. I have like a vague plan of
Okay,
like
have you
something will happen.
I get
That's my
confused
vague
when you
plan.
talk
But
about
then
your
I
writing.
just
Like,
go
do
from
you
moment
have
to
like a
moment with it.
novel?
I just kind of like let it go. But like we
Hello?
said, it could be anything depending on how you
Is your mic
personally
muted?
like to do things. Because I
Hello?
don't think either one is completely useless. Of course, mine comes with
Hello?
brain melting amounts of procrastination when you can't think of
Is
what
this a
to do.
creepypasta? What's happening?
What happened?
Uh okay, there was like silence and like all of a sudden the Discord thing went super red and now it's super green. So, I think after I said, "Do you have a novel?" I heard nothing that you said and now I'm
Yeah,
creeped
yeah,
out.
and then it like fast forwards through everything that you said. That's what happened.
Okay, so what did you say?
I said like the only like I don't think either way is good or bad. I
Oh my
think
god,
just
it's
the
happening
one my
again.
way comes with a lot of procrastination when you can't figure out what to make the characters do, and you kind of just stuck. So if you can plan,
Do I
you
have
should,
something downloading? Is
or
this why
you
this is
probably should
happening?
plan either way. But you don't always need to stick to your plan. It doesn't have to be a hard and fast plan. That's the only thing.
Okay, dude, this is failing so hard. I have no idea what you just said. I'm sorry.
Your voice turned robotic, so I'm assuming Discord is having some problems. So I
Dude,
just said, like, you can do both ways. Neither one is right, but you should probably plan if you can.
okay. Because okay, we have the thoughts have digested in our heads now, right? We Discord synced up now?
I hope so.
Okay, good. So, but do you have a novel?
I have maybe. I don't know. I'm not done with it. I should probably finish. I've been
What's
putting it off for months.
isn't it the meta one? Like,
Oh, I don't know. I have no clue. I don't even think I wrote that one. I think I just said that as an idea.
oh, okay.
I've been
So,
working on one since last June, and it's like 80% done, but I can't finish it for whatever reason. I have to think of an ending, I guess. I'm like a
Stephen
really
King.
shitty George R. R. Martin. I can't finish the book, so I'm just not gonna do it. That's what's happening right now. Um, yeah, currently that's what's happening. Oh, and also, um, there was like another book that I wrote that I just kind of dropped off because I feel like if you're actually trying to improve your writing, writing something big or doing a big project is not the best way to do it.
Yeah.
Um, this is what people say about any activity. Like this is why when you do like when you go to like an art class or whatever, they don't say like make a whole book of work or whatever. They just be like make one drawing, do it as best as you can, learn from the mistakes you make, and then move on. Right. So
Mm-hmm.
like the more you iterate on your abilities, the faster you grow. So
Yeah.
if you're just getting started, don't think like you have to do something huge right off the bat. It's probably not for the best. Just do something small and do it a lot. That will help you more than anything else.
You know, so I think so that with that being said, doing a huge comic probably isn't smart from my
Well, you're
part.
not you're not doing like a monolithic thing. You can change it from whenever you want, right? Because you have complete freedom with it. So I
Yeah.
don't think this is really the same thing. The only thing might be like if your characters are too limiting when you set them up, and you look back like 2 years down the line, it'll be like, yeah, I should have made these characters more. Like I could have made more to do with these, but you can fix that too. You can just have them grow or whatever. It's not the easiest thing
Yeah.
in the world, but like you can do it. So like my friend who writes fantasy, he wrote one book and he like finished editing it, and he doesn't want to send it to any like publishing houses or whatever because he hates it too much. He's like, looking back on it now, it's so garbage that I don't even want anyone to read it. And I'm like, yeah, but you put so much time into it, you might as well. Like, you're doing yourself a disservice if you don't. So there's that aspect to it too, and that you shouldn't get too precious with it to the point where you're not willing to let anyone see it, because
Yeah.
you're just hurting yourself at that point.
Yeah, and people should put more garbage out. Have you seen my Twitter drawings like the dragon and the homeless guy?
I like the concept that you can't even stop drawing for a second, because if you've seen Bakuman, that's like that guy. That's like their main rival or whatever is a guy like that who literally never stops drawing ever.
Well, I stopped. I see what you mean, but also I'm not always constantly drawing. But I see what you mean. Yeah.
This is my head canon. Don't mess with my head canon, okay?
Okay. Yeah. So I'm just drawing so much that like I can't help it. So I just draw these little doodles all the time. It's
I
kind of
like that you did it with your finger on the phone. That's even better.
yeah. Well, it's halfway true, kind of.
Yeah, there you go. See?
Yeah.
My head
Yeah.
canon becomes reality. That's how we want everything to be, tying it back to the very first thing we talked about.
Yeah. There we go, dude. The thing is though, like, okay, the last podcast with Matt blew my mind because the idea, like, I had never thought about it, but like, there are just things in the public domain. So the idea that I can create the Pinocchio extended universe is amazing to me. And I'm going to do that. I'm going to make a comic that is about Pinocchio. Did you read the synopsis of it?
No, but talking about the public domain, there's so many things in the public domain. Legit, I wrote a script for like this like I was gonna do an edit of like a stop motion cartoon from the early 30s or like late 40s or whatever, maybe early 50s, which featured like a scarecrow and a crow, and then just conversing. And I wrote like a script for this, and I was gonna like edit together the scarecrow and the crow to make it look like they were talking like how I wanted them to talk.
Mm-hmm.
So the public domain is a never-ending gift.
Dude, it's just like I should like look research like every weird thing that is in the public domain and like use it because like I don't know, there's something fascinating about the idea that there's all these Pinocchio adaptations and like people have an inherent emotional connection to Pinocchio. So like if you do an adaptation of it, like people could like love it. Like it's just fascinating to me. I don't know. Like
The
I'm obsessed with Pinocchio now.
the
That
ideas are never ending. Like you could have a black and white Pinocchio. You would have to be really good at like After Effects to do this, but you could have a black and white Pinocchio cut out from the frame that he was originally in, like walking across a frame from a different Pinocchio.
oh
You
my
get what I'm saying?
god,
Yo,
that's
that's
so
immediately
cool.
what I thought of when you said Pinocchio extended universe. Like that's so cool to me.
Wait, you didn't read that huge thing that I typed out in the chat about my idea for the Pinocchio universe?
No, I didn't. I didn't even scroll that far up. I was too sleepy.
Bro, it's actually insane. Like Matt said, how did you just now come up with this? This is mental. And I'm like, I think I came up with it in the bathroom or something. And like I wrote this whole thing out on my phone and then I like copy paste explained it into the chat. Like, okay, the story is like the Pinocchio universe takes place in this endless void and like there's this like field, right? With one tree and like there's all these Pinocchios that like fall from the tree into like this huge like ring of pond. Like the tree is on like a little island of grass in the middle, and there's this huge ring of ponds, and all the Pinocchios like fall into the pond, and each one goes into a different universe, and that's why there's different Pinocchio adaptations because each Pinocchio adaptation is from a Pinocchio that fell into the tree. But one day there's two rival and like okay, so one side of the void is like dark and stormy and the other side is like light and happy. And so the Pinocchios from one side are like uh all the adaptations of Pinocchio that are more cynical, like the original 1800s version, and the other side are like the Disney like Pinocchios.
Even the
So
Disney Pinocchio, I feel, was pretty dark in some parts.
yeah, but like he's like more like of a cheery happy boy in those, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, in the old one, he wasn't even like a happy boy. He was just depressed.
Well, like the old one is insane. Like things get like people chop each other up and stuff in the old ones. Like, yeah, and Pinocchio's like mean all the time. It's like weird.
I think that's the original like point of the. Whoa, my God! What if you put in like that with AI? The Steven Spielberg movie.
Wait, didn't that happen? No,
That
AI
is
is.
Pinocchio.
Yeah,
AI
yeah,
is
it is.
Pinocchio. Yeah. So it's
Yeah,
like
me
the
and
most modern Pinocchio adaptation we have so far. So you
yeah.
could cut this in with that. That's like transhumanist, whatever, futurist type stuff.
I was okay. You're on to something because like me and Matt were talking on the podcast. Like, if this goes into the future, the tree could be in a terrarium bubble in space, like or something.
This is like the end of Men in Black when they find out that their own galaxy is a marble in like some game or whatever.
Ooh,
This is like the
ooh,
classic at the end of the movie you zoom out and show like
bro.
everything that happened.
Just wait because I got some stuff coming that's similar to that. Anyways, so um so like so like one day there's two special Pinocchios that like drift beyond the pond and like the evil one goes on the evil side and the good one goes on the good side, right? And so they both circle around and examine the pond and like they just dip their toes in it to and like they see all these Pinocchios falling in and they're like, "Oh, we should stay away from this," right? And so the um the 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 evil Pinocchio so in the original Pinocchio story, Pinocchio's nose doesn't have to grow when he lies.
I
It
love how
only
you're so serious about this.
no, I
It's
am
actually kind
serious
of
about
nuts.
this, dude.
Yeah, I can
So
tell you are very serious about this.
yes, so in the original story, a fairy actually extends his nose one time. So his nose doesn't have to grow when he lies. So the evil one can lie. But in this canon, the evil Pinocchio has the ability to grow his nose at will. And this is important because I'll tell you why. So the good and evil Pinocchios both can chop their noses off and build with the wood from their noses.
Oh my.
So
Okay,
they
stop. Okay, stop. I'm pressing eject right here. This is
no
too
no
far.
no
This
no, it
is too
gets
far.
deeper.
This
No,
is
it gets
like there's an episode of Rick and Morty where this guy goes to the happy fun time playland that Rick made for his daughter, and he has sex with all the animals there, and he makes human animal hybrids. This is like that. This is too far. You're going
no,
too
it's
far now.
no, it's
You're
getting
gonna
better.
say they build a treehouse with their own wood. I'm like,
Yes. No. Listen, they each build their own society with their own wood. So they both have like a whole society, and like the good Pinocchio, right? He like limits the production of the Pinocchios, and like they build like a tribal society, and they start like treating the tree as sacred, and they're like, we can't mess with this tree. We have to let all the Pinocchios fall from it naturally. But listen, the evil Pinocchios are like, we just want to produce more. So they produce a giant like metropolis out of wood, and like he also builds a bunch of like millions of citizens out of his nose. So like they're like, wait, we want to board up the pond so that all of the Pinocchios that come from the tree just like are like we increase production even more. And so he can just build his army even more. So that and so like but the good Pinocchios are like, no, we this is sacred, like we need to preserve this for like to a certain extent. And so listen, I'm about to blow your mind. This is all a metaphor for capitalism because like so like you know how Disney like is trying to like kind of put a stranglehold on the public domain and like keep it for themselves. The evil Pinocchios represent Disney trying to board up the public domain and like hog all these public domain properties for themselves, and the good Pinocchios like represent like free like artistic expression, and they want to just let it flow so that the Pinocchio adaptations can like go. But like it like the whole thing is a metaphor, but like in between that there's like Game of Thrones style like warring faction type stuff going on because the evil Pinocchios can lie. So that adds like this whole drama element to where this can like be this huge like epic like anime Game of Thrones like crazy, and like there could be shonen powers, like it could get insane.
I think you just gave Chris Chan a wet dream, like somewhere
I
Chris
did.
Chan is like super
Wait, hold
excited
on.
that
My
you're so
headphones are
excited about
out.
this.
I'm sorry. Say that again.
Somewhere,
Hold on. All right. Say everything you said after Christian again.
some you just gave Chris Chan a wet dream somewhere. Like, she's very excited that you're so excited about this. This is next level commitment to one property.
Dude, but this idea, like, I kind of. I really want to collab with Matt on something, but I know he's busy making stuff for actual money because he has actual talent. And, like, if we just made something together, it would just be bizarre. But, like, one day I'm going to, like, make something with him. And I kind of want to collab with him on this Pinocchio idea.
Yo, the Matt White stance Oliver Oliver Short. Yeah, go with that. Why not?
That would be insane.
Collab will be nuts. It'll be like the Supreme X Off-White collab. It'll be like the next biggest thing in these streets. Like, someone get these flaming hot comics off my hands before I singe myself. Like, it'll be next level.
That would be next level. But like
this is what you were Matt were talking about last week with the Pinocchios?
Yeah.
Oh my god. Okay.
You didn't listen to the podcast?
No, I didn't at all.
Well, like, it's partially his. The reason I want to collab is because it's partially his idea, because he came up with.
This sounds like the type of idea you guys would come up with. This does very much.
I added the like warring factions and all this like weird stuff later in the chat, but like during the podcast we were talking about like an infinite Pinocchio tree that exists throughout time and stuff. Like, yeah.
You know, like there are levels to things. Like sometimes you see something and you're like, it's like this reminds me of Adventure Time. Honestly, like I watched that Adventure Time timeline video, and as soon as they said, what's it called, Princess Bubblegum? There's
Yeah.
like a tree in that too, isn't there? A tree in Adventure Time?
Are you talking about the tree where like the bubblegum or the candy kingdom came from?
Yes. What is that tree
Okay.
called?
I can't remember. It's been so
Yeah,
long.
it's some like it's like the Juju tree or something.
Something, yeah.
This reminds me so much of that that I'm like, I'm sure people will like this. So you maybe should do it even, but
Dude,
after you do your current stuff.
okay. The weird thing about that video and all those Get in the Robot timeline videos, okay, not anything. I'm not trying. I don't want to be mean here, but like the presentation, like it's weird to present the timeline in that way because like the way that you consume Adventure Time is so not that. You know what I mean? Like it,
Yeah,
like all that.
especially the one with Gravity Falls. I felt like if you're looking at it chronologically, you kind of spoil the show for yourself.
Yeah,
Before
and
you
it
don't get it
makes
presented to you in the way that the show does.
yeah, and like you kind of like what like all that lore from it, like all the lore that they said in that video is like given to you over time throughout the show. So like condensing it in a timeline makes it almost indecipherable to me. Like when I watched that, I was like, wait, what? Like, and I had to think back, like, what episode was that? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's weird.
What made it indecipherable to me was like the confusing nature of it. It was like this, then this, but this is actually this, and then that happened, but then this was that. Which I get what you're saying if it comes at you slow, but it
Yeah,
reminded what it actually reminded me of was like if you read a comic after it's been handed over between like two or three writers, like the number of retcons from event to event, it kind of reminded me of that. It was kind of like that in the sense that things just stop making sense after some point and you just pay attention to what you're reading on that page.
yeah. Well, that's what Adventure Time is. You know, it has a lot of different writers, of course, and like, Adventure Time, it I guess you could say sort of popularized the whole we're gonna have continuity in cartoons now, but like you got to realize that like that wasn't the main focus for a lot of the seasons. So like uh, a lot of things are like a lot of the continuity came later or was like interspersed here and there. Well, I mean, it didn't come too later, but like the continuity that was there was always okay. How should I put this? There was always like they never like continuity like but the and I think I watched an interview with Pendleton Ward or someone that said that was very much sort of in the background, like there wasn't too many story elements in the early seasons, and then they really ramped it up later. So it that you could still see the evidence of like, oh, there's a like a different writer did this episode. You know what I mean?
Yeah, going back to what you were saying, you have all these big plans for where you want the comic to go, but in the early stages, you can really mess around and find the tone and the, like themes that you like and then stick with that for the later parts.
Yeah,
I feel
that's
like a
true.
lot of shows do that just because like the writing process in TV shows is so collaborative that you can't really get your chemistry, up and going right off the bat. Like you really have to work at it for a little bit to get it where you want it to be. So for
Hmm.
everything to start clicking, it's not really going to happen like from day one. It's going to happen maybe like after the first season, like halfway through the second season. So you got to just be okay with being able to do something without fully locking it in until later, because that's just I think how it works.
It's interesting that you say that because like a lot of the interviews that I've seen from staff members of Adventure Time, like Rebecca Sugar specifically, like talks about how when she was writing the songs for Adventure Time, like the songs for the you haven't seen Adventure Time. What am I? Well,
Nope.
for the I guess for the audience for the what am I to you? The song what was missing? That's the episode. It's also the episode where the thing started with Princess Bubblegum and Marceline having a romantic relationship. That's where the seeds were planted for that thing. So like in that episode it started, and she was talking about in an interview how when she was writing the songs for, pretty sure for those episodes, like she pitched them to Pendleton Ward, the showrunner. She was so nervous that she had to pitch them to him. Like she made him turn around while she sung them.
This explains everything about her personality that you really
Yeah,
need to know, I feel.
yeah. It does explain a lot. And what is also interesting is if you look on a lot of the Steven Universe board artists' Twitter, a lot of them learned a lot about art and drawing on the job. Like you can see how their storyboards have improved and their drawing skills have improved. And like one of them talked about like the biggest thing I learned from like working on Steven Universe was that you don't always have to worry about how good you are as an artist before you start being an artist. Like I've learned so much by working in the field, and I think that is the biggest thing that every creative person needs to hear really is like you just have to start. Like you just have to do stuff, you know? You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Yeah.
We talked about this a couple episodes before when I was like, perfect is better than done, and you're like, I think we argued about perfect is better than done for a while. Was
Wait,
that
did
you?
we?
I feel like
I
we
don't
did.
know.
Anyway, the
Probably.
point is,
That sounds like something we would argue
no,
about.
wait, done is better than perfect. I reversed it. No, yeah, done is better than
Which
perfect.
which side was I on?
I don't remember. I think you were on the other side.
Well, I've switched now, so
Okay,
there we go.
but I might just be like sandmanning you, so that it could be anyone really. Who knows?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
The point being, like, you can do whatever you want. You just have to like stay committed to it, and you're probably gonna get way better at it than if you were just, putting it all in your head and worrying about getting better at it, but never actually doing it. I feel
Yeah.
like there's one way you'll actually make some progress, and one way you're definitely not gonna make any progress.
Well, it's like the I guess it's like this is kind of a weird analogy, but it's like I guess it's kind of like Emily Dickinson. Like she had all these stories, but she never put them out, and then she only got famous. But like essentially, they were kind of all just in her head. You know what I mean? She was too nervous. I don't know if she was too nervous to put them out, but she was
I
just a
don't know
shut
if
in
that's the
general.
best example because historically the people whose stuff got put out after their death and they became really famous is because it was really good and people liked it. Like Franz Kafka,
Yeah.
maybe one of the most famous writers of all time. All his stuff was released after he died, and it's like masterpiece level shit that he made. So don't worry too much about that. Put out your stuff. Now is the probably the best time ever to be sharing stuff online because there's a lot of supportive communities that'll help you.
Yeah.
Okay, that's our
Why
soapbox.
why do I always come up with the worst metaphors and analogies?
No, I mean Emily Dickinson. People complain about her stuff being like too whiny or whatever. I think is the most common complaint. But like, I mean, it's. I think people were better educated back in the day, so they could just write poetry or whatever. It feels like that sometimes.
Well, like I feel like the same people who complain about that are the same people who like say, "Oh, Ray's a Mary Sue." Like, I don't know.
I don't think Ray's Mary Sue. Well, actually, I think people expected Finn to be the main character, and when they were just like, "Oh, he's not the main character anymore." Oh shit! The next Star Wars movie is coming this December.
Does anyone care?
I don't know. I feel like there was so much hype going into Last Jedi because they finally made a sequel that wasn't complete ass in Force Awakens that they wanted to see what would happen. And then after the, to me, forest fire that was Last Jedi, people just, I think, realized that this is all just a cash grab and they
Yeah.
just gave up.
Hot take. The prequels are better than the sequels. I'm gonna say it right now. The Force Awakens, The Last Jedi, and I'm gonna go ahead and put all my cards on the table. Episode 9 are all worse than the prequels.
I don't know. I feel like the narrative has been going around so like in circles with this because people first when the Phantom Menace came out, people actually liked it, and then when the second one came out, they were lukewarm, and the third one, kind of ended on a high a little bit, but after that, like the vitriol that started was crazy because I think it didn't live up to people's expectations as a whole,
Yeah.
and we kind of get a similar one with this. Like Force Awakens, people were super hype. Last Jedi, people were kind of up in arms about. They were like, remake this. This isn't real or whatever. And then the Last Skywalker or whatever it's called, Rise of Skywalker. What's it called?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rise of yeah.
So after this one, people are going to be like, I think at some point you just have to give up. Like the people who are still holding on to the original trilogy, like the reason that these movies are even successful is because people like you are still out there. And I know it's a big part of your childhood, but like it's not that thing anymore. It's transformed into some ugly, hideous corporate machine. You just gotta put it
Wait,
down,
you just
take it
said
out.
people like me are still out
No,
there?
no,
What does that
like
mean?
you. I'm talking in like a royal sense, a royal
Oh,
you, like
okay.
general
Okay.
you.
I
All
got you.
the people like who grew up in the whatever, and they
I
saw
got you.
Star Wars as a kid, and they're still holding on to that dream. It's like it's not that. It's some corporate money making machine now. You got to take it out behind the barn and put it down, or it's just gonna
Yeah.
keep on hurting you.
And by the way, let me be clear. The prequels are very terrible films, but they're better than the sequels. So, there we go.
Also, I
Because
think people need to watch bad movies. Like you
I
only really
agree.
gain a appreciation for good movies if you watch really shit movies, which Netflix kindly is a public service to give you every trashy movie you want to see. And not just trashy in the sense that its content is trashy, but like actually poorly made stuff. All their movies that they make are like an hour 27 minutes long.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of Netflix though, um El Camino, did I say that right?
Yeah, October 13th, I think.
Bro, did you see the trailers?
No, I didn't. I don't. I want to go in like fully unspoiled. Only thing I've seen is his face, Aaron
Dude,
Paul's face.
okay. The what's amazing about the trailers, literally uh 3 lines of dialogue and it gives away nothing. He just says, "Are you ready?" Yeah. Like
Great,
an yeah, and
wonderful.
like the trailer is so good while telling you nothing. It's brilliant. Like
Well, I
it's
can't
like
wait to watch that. I hope it's not like an hour 27 minutes. I want it to be substantial, like close to 2 hours at least.
dude, it looks so good. It looks so good.
Do you
And like
think? Do you think after this movie, they're gonna make a post Breaking Bad like a series about Jesse Pinkman?
if Vince Gilligan is writing it, it can happen. But if he's not, then don't let it happen.
I mean, he it has to be him because he owns all the like stuff. He owns all the property rights. I think
Yeah,
IP.
but yeah, but you know how this goes. How this can go. Like things can slip into the hands of corporate money-making soulless people.
Well, if after he's done, season Better Call Saul season 5, what else is he gonna do? You know?
Um yeah, I guess you're right. I guess there could be.
Okay. And on that bombshell, we should probably wrap up for today. Pushing our luck
Okay.
as it is. We talked about writing a little bit. We talked about stuff and other stuff, but this is like you're gonna get two different flavors of podcast if me and Matt are switching weeks like this because you guys are gonna get really into the creative bag, and I'm here to just be cynical about everything. It's wonderful.
Well, like Kanye West said, I got treasures in my mind, but couldn't open up my own vault. I feel like every podcast, I feel like half the time it doesn't scratch the surface of what I want to delve into. Maybe
Great.
that's the plight of all artists. They communicate through their art because they can't communicate auditorily.
Yeah. Well, we try to communicate here as best as we can. So
What? You
we
cut
try to
out.
communicate here as but you've been cutting out too. I'm just gonna ignore it so we can finish the pod.
Okay.
Okay. Uh, that was a Coast On podcast. Thank you for listening. Go subscribe to Gigabytes. Go subscribe to Matt W.
Everett and
Um,
Mira, link in description.
link in description. Hopefully, I remember. Okay. That's it
Okay.
for this week. Bye.
Bye.